So I have one requirement. For example, now in my default directory, there can be many service connections. And for service connection, at each time, each service connection you create, for each service connection, you have this service principal or app registration. Now, app registration are having limited validity. Limited validity. So in
Okay.
this limited validity, say for example, this app registration is having 1 year of validity. Now, after 1 year, if I'll not renew the secret or if I'll not renew the certificate, what will happen? This app registration will expire. Now, say for example, my app registration is used for logging feature to one of my application. Say for example, there is one of my application, and for that application, whatever the customers are coming, they are using for sign in, they are using this app registration. This app registration is used for signing. So for 1 year, if my app registration get expired and I'll not get notified, so what will happen? My application will get stopped. So for getting the notification, so I want to get the notification. This is one requirement, you can say, a problem statement. So what I can do for this, for getting the notification from the Logic app? So I can do two things. First thing, I can write a PowerShell script. Now, what PowerShell script I'll be writing? I'll be writing the PowerShell script to get the details of the app registration. So PowerShell script to get the details. What kind of details? Secret and certificate details. After writing this PowerShell script, what I need to do? After getting this, I should get an email. I should get an email. So I should get an email like this. App registration certificate expiry. So I'm getting all the app registration and all the secret expiry date and all. So that within time, I should go and renew my secret in the app registration. So how this is performed? How you can perform this? So for this purpose, what I have to do? I have to do two things. First thing, I have to write the PowerShell script. After writing the PowerShell script, I'll get the details of all my app registration. And then I have say, for example, I have to send. And now Logic app depends on some event. Logic app depends on some event. Event triggered. So whenever some event is being triggered, then the Logic app works. So in the Logic app, what we do? We design the flow. We design the flow of the Logic app. Now my flow says at the first, what I'll keep my PowerShell script over there. Now that PowerShell script, so very first step, what I'll do? I'll perform some step. So I'll write the flow of Logic app. Flow of Logic app. Now, for what purpose I am giving this flow? That I should get the notification of my expired secrets. So very first thing, say for example, what I have to do in the Logic app. So I have to design the Logic app like very first thing what I'll do. I'll run the Logic app. Now you have to decide when you have to run the Logic app. So say for example, I'm running this Logic app every 15 days. So in the Logic app, when you create the Logic app, there are different tasks in the Logic app. So for running this Logic app every 15 days, since I have to get every 15 days, I'll get the status of my certificates, like how many days are remaining to get the certificate expired or secret expired. So for example, I'll running my Logic app every 15 days. So first step is running the logic app in 15 days. Now there must be some task associated to running of the logic app here. See, for example, there is one task in the logic app called recurrence. Recurrence means on every 15 days, my logic app will start. So I've set that first task in my logic app flow. Now my logic app has started in each 15 day. Now what it will do? So I have to give some second step in the flow. So in the second step, my logic app will run the PowerShell script. So my logic app will run the PowerShell script. Now I have to keep that PowerShell script somewhere so that it can automatically be executed. So for this purpose, what I'll do, I'll create a job with the logic app. Now what kind of job it will be? To execute PowerShell script. PowerShell script. Now if I keep my PowerShell script in my local, it cannot fetch the PowerShell script from my local. So I have to keep it somewhere. So where I'll keep my PowerShell script? So I will keep my PowerShell script with automation account. Okay, automation account. Once I'll write this flow, I'll show you. Okay. So what it will do, in every 15 days, my logic app will run, and this logic app, as a first job, it will run the PowerShell script, which is with the automation account. So now the PowerShell script has been executed. Now what will be the third step? So third step will be, after creating the job, running the job, get the output. Get the output of that particular PowerShell job. And then there will be a fourth step. What will be the fourth step? Send the output as email. So this is a kind of flow. This is one task, just an example task, which I told you how you can, wherever you can use the logic app. So problem statement was, I need to know the app registration certificates and secret expiry date in my, I need to get the notification in my email so that well before the expiry of my certificates and secret, I should get a notification. So for that purpose, I designed this logic app. And there are only 4 steps in this logic app. Now, if you will go here, go to the PowerShell. So very first thing you have to create is the automation account. Okay. Now, what this automation account is, this is the automation account. Now, what is this automation account? So in the automation account, when you create the automation account, you can have different jobs. Like I'll create an automation account over here. Automation account, you can give any name like app registration expiry. East US, I'll create the automation account now. Now my automation account has been created. And in the automation account, you can see that there are run books. So you have to create a run book here. You have to create a run book here. You can give any runbook name like app registration, secret expiry and all. Choose the runbook type. I have to run the PowerShell command, so I'll run the PowerShell. PowerShell runtime version I can take like 7.2 and I can create. So, so you can say, so my runbook will be created now. Now this is my runbook. Now what I have to do here in the runbook. So for getting the details of secret expiry, I have to write some PowerShell code over here. I have to write some PowerShell code. And after writing that PowerShell code, what I have to do? I have to publish that PowerShell code. And once published, I'll click on publish. Okay. Write something over there. Now say this is the PowerShell script. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll save this. I'll publish this out. Where is that? Huh. So app registration secret expiry. Let me delete this one. Hmm. So this is the one. Now what you can do, once you created this automation account, so we have done our second step as of now. Okay. Now we have to design all that logic flow. So what you can do now, you can go to logic apps. So logic app is designed for that purpose wherever through some event you have to notify anything, notify something, whether it can be inside the application, whether it can be your own purpose for your inline development, anything it can be. So you can create a logic app for that. So for example, I created a logic app over here. I can keep that logic app in the same resource group. Okay. I can give some name like LG hyphen app registration. I can give any name. Workflow image, East US, consumption based, all those things. Okay. Zone redundancy, I don't want. I'll go next. I'll create my logic app. Now this is my logic app created. Now here I'll design that particular flow of my problem statement. So either you can go to Logic App Designer, where you can design the logic flow, or directly either you can edit from here. So this, if you edit here, it will take you to the Logic App Designer. Okay. So you can click on edit. Now here you can see different tasks in the Logic App. You can search for any task, or either you can get, for example, here you can create a blank Logic App and you can add also. But for my problem statement, so my problem statement is this, where I want to get the secret, expiry date and all in my through my email. So I created an automation account for this purpose, and now I'll design the logic app. So flow of my logic app, first task was recurrence. So I can choose this recurrence task over here. So say for example, 2 intervals, frequency per month, I'll set per month. Means every 15 days I'll run this logic app. Now what else? I have to set the time zone. I have to set the startup time. So time zone I have to set. Say I set my time zone when it will be running. So plus 5:30. And then you can give some start time, whatever you want. Say for example, you can give the start time is as of now 2023. So it will be 2023 hyphen. Then what month is going on? 12th. What is the date today? For example, 30. And then you can give the time. Okay. So it will be like this. Wait. Hmm. And then, for example, you have to start at some time. For example, as of now, it is 9:33 in the morning. I have to start at 10. So I can give 10 colon 00 colon 00. It will start at 10. Okay, like this. So this is my first step of recurrence. Now I'll design my second step. So new step. Now what my second step says, I have to run a PowerShell script. So what I can do? So if you search for Azure automation account, why? Because my PowerShell script lies with the automation account. So I can choose this automation account. Now in the automation account, what I have to do? I have to create the job. So I can create a job over here. So when I create a job, so before that, what I have to do? I'll be needing some connection. I'll be needing some connection. So for getting this connection, what I have to do? Since all these things are automation, I'll not be logging in to work on this. This will be working as an automation only. So for that purpose, for my automation account, I have to enable the identity of my automation account. Identity means, so when I enable the identity, what will happen? This is the identity. So this is my system assigned identity, which is on. So there are two types of identities, user assigned and system assigned. Now I'll not be logging in while this app will be running. So I always use system assigned identity. So in the system assigned identity, like you have your username and the password. So similarly, when I click on this system assigned identity, an object ID will be created for this automation account. And this object ID is a system assigned identity, means this object ID is having some secret. So you can copy this identity, and what you can do, you can add this identity to the logic app. So what will happen? A connection will happen between the logic app and the Azure Automation account. So now whenever your logic app flow will run, it will ask automation account to run that script. And once the script has been run, what will happen? It will fetch that output from the automation account. So you have to enable the connection here. Say for example, you can give the connection name as Azure Automation. Any connection name. Now authentication type is logic app managed identity or either service principal authentication. Now in the case of service principal authentication, you have to create a service principal. But in the logic app managed identity, what you can do, if you have chosen, you must enable the identity of the logic app. So as you have enabled the identity over here, you have to enable the identity over here also, so that both of the applications can connect to each other without your, uh, what you can say, interruption. So before designing this, what you have to do, let it be unsaved, go to the resource. Here also there is a managed identity. So you can turn on this managed identity and you can save. Now what you have to do, you have to copy this managed identity. You have to go to the automation account. There is a demo RG where the automation account is there. What you have to go? You have to go to the IAM role. You have to add the IAM role. Now what kind of role you will add? A contributor role. Go to next. Click on managed identity, not the user. Select the member of the managed identity. So see, there is a logic app. It will automatically add. This is the logic app. Select that logic app and add the logic app to the resource group where the automation account is there. Review and assign. Now what will happen? Logic app will be able to access your automation account now. This is the one. Now you can create the flow over here. Overview. Click on edit. Choose the task. First task. 2 intervals. Month. Parameter. Time zone. Start time. Choose your time zone. Start time you can choose. So this is the start time. Now you can go for another. Now first thing you have to choose the operation. What kind of operation? So Azure automation. From the all section, you can choose whatever automation you want. Okay. So Azure automation. In the Azure automation, what you want, you have to create a job. Now you can give the connection name. So Azure connection. And then what kind of logic app managed identity? Now you can create a connection. After creating the connection, you can set the job. Now what kind of job? So where my job lies, it is with the automation account. I can choose Azure subscription 1. I can choose the resource group, wherever it is. I can choose the automation account, whatever automation account, and wait for the job. Yes. Wait for the job for completing. Yes. Now, what else the parameter? I need the runbook name. Without that, I will not be able to run this. Okay. So what is my runbook name? App registration secret expiry. Now my second job is also created. What it will do, it will give the instruction for to this create job to run the automation script. Now I'll move to the third step. Now what is third step? Get the job output. So again, creating an automation, get job output. Again, what I'll do, I'll give my subscription name, my resource group name. What else? Automation account name. What else? Some job ID. So I need to choose the job ID. So whenever I'm running the job in the automation account, there is a job number which is created. So I'll get the job ID of that particular number. So my this step is also done. Now I'll go to the new step. Now whatever output I got, I have to send that output. So for sending that output, I can use different things. Like if you want to send it to your Outlook, you can click on Outlook. If you want to send it to the Gmail, you can click on Gmail. If you want it to send through SendGrid account, now there is a SendGrid account in the Azure. Now this SendGrid is an application, SaaS application, software as a service provided by Azure. It will send you the emails. So for example, this can be a free account also. SendGrid account can be a free account also. SendGrid account can be a standard account also. Okay, premium account also. It depends on the number of emails or SMS what you want to send. So for free account, every day you can send 100 emails. So you can create either a SendGrid account. This SendGrid account will be acting as a sender over there. So you have to configure your email ID over there with the SendGrid account. And on behalf of you, SendGrid will send the emails. Okay. So either you can choose this one if you want, or either for practice, you can choose Gmail one or Outlook one, whatever. Now in the Gmail, what I have to do? I have to send the email. So I'll choose the send email task. Now here also, I'll need some connection. So I can give any connection name like send email, any connection name, authentication type. Now use default shared application. Now what it will do in the background, it will create some application. Using that particular application, it will authenticate you or bring your own application. Now in the bring your own application, what you have to do? Since you are using Gmail, you have to create one authentication application with the Google Console. Okay, Gmail console there, and then you can authenticate using that particular application. So this is how authentication works. Okay, so how authentication works? So for example, I have an application. Just for an example, this is say Facebook application. Facebook application. Okay. Now, who are the users who will be logging to my Facebook application? So people will be coming from different IDPs, identity providers. Okay. What identity providers? Say, for example, they are coming through Gmail. They can come through Yahoo. They can come through any other social identity provider, Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail. There are many identity providers in this world. So they can come through each and everything. Now, for accommodating those users, what I have to do as a Facebook, I have to create different applications into different IDPs. So how many IDPs will be there? As a Facebook, I have to create that many applications. Then only I'll let the customers into my Facebook. Because someone would be there to authenticate. So for example, this is Gmail. For example, this is Gmail. For example, this is Yahoo. Okay. This is Hotmail. All these are what? All these are IDPs, identity providers. So what Facebook, as a Facebook, since Facebook is my application, what I have to do as a Facebook, I have to create one application for authentication at each IDP. So these are IDP. I have created the applications over here. Okay. What kind of application? Authentication applications like OAuth and all. Okay. So these applications will be having a app ID and a secret. Similarly, we create app registration into Azure. That is also an IDP. Okay. So similarly, you will create an app over here. Here also you will create an app. Here also you will create an app. Now, whenever these are your customers, or you can say users. First time I'll say customers. Okay. Then later on, when they will be authenticated, they will be termed as users. Okay. Customers. So for example, one of my customer is coming from Gmail. So how my Facebook application will know that this is Gmail? So as soon as I put my details into the Facebook, Facebook knows, okay, Gmail is there. Means Facebook has been created an authentication with the Gmail. So now Gmail application will provide the authentication for this Gmail customer. Okay, this is my customer. So it will let you into the Facebook. Say for example, second customer is there. Second customer is coming from Yahoo. Second customer coming from Yahoo. This is a Yahoo. Okay. So Yahoo will know, okay, this is my customer. So Yahoo will provide that authentication on behalf of uh, that Yahoo customer. So Facebook will come to know, okay, this user is from Yahoo. This is how authentication works. Similarly, for here also, for getting that authentication, either I have to bring my own application. Now this application would be lying with my Google console. So I have to create one application in the Google console. Mm. This is my Google console application. It is similar to our Azure portal only. Okay. So what I have to do over here, I have to go to the IAM. Okay. So in the IAM or API services, I have to create that O authentication. So here I'll create one application. So create the credentials. So what I have to create? I have to create a O authentication client ID. Now it will create an application for me. So that O authentication application and that secret. So if I bring my own application, I have to provide that O authentication application and secret here. Or either you can use your default. So if you choose your default sign in, so now it is asking that authenticating the like authentication for authentication it is asking. So choose an account to continue with the logic apps. So to which account I want to send? My trainings account. So this will allow Azure Logic app to read, compose, send, permanently delete all of your emails. All this access I want to allow. Now by default for a private account, Gmail will not allow some external app to give that permission. If I click on allow, maybe it will not give, maybe it will not give. Okay. I'm not sure. See, it is creating. Okay, it has created. Great then. Earlier, it was an issue with the Gmail that it does not allow some private app to load that. Now it has given. So two, you can give your name. Okay. You can set that email. So this way, now add the parameter. What parameter you want to add? I want to add subject. I want to add body. I want to add the importance. These parameters I need to add in the email. Now in the subject, I can write app registration, secret expiry. In the body, what you can give? Below please find, or you can write like hi team, please find the app registration, secret and certificates expiry. After that, what I can give here? I can add the content from the runbook. Whatever the output content will be, I can add. I can set the importance over here, say high importance. And my logic app is set now. I can save this designer. So why it has been failed as of now? Since that authentication I told you that is not allowed. That's why it is failed. Failed to save logic app. The operation on workflow logic app registration cannot be completed because it contains connector application, Azure automation, which are not compatible with the Gmail connector. So this connection is okay for some organizational, like for example, your organizational account is with the Gmail. So then you can create this because your this organization will be having a some this type of portal, Google portal, where you can create an app. And that too you cannot create. You have to ask some of your system administrator or anyone who is managing the Google account to create that for you. Then only you can authenticate. Okay. And then you can provide that here, like bring your own application. You can provide the application ID and the secret. And once it is set up, all the 4 jobs are set. Then you can trigger the logic app, you can run, and you will get an email like this.
So where we'll be using the logic apps normally?
Pardon?
Where we will use the logic apps, web apps?
That's what I told you. Whenever there is a requirement, something like an event, you need some notification for any application, whether it is for external use, whether it is for your own internal use in your organization. Say, for example, this is the live scenario, what I'm telling you. Live means I have that need in my organization that I need to get the certificate, secret, and expiry date. So I created this automation using the logic app. So this is one example I'm telling you. Like this, there can be thousands of examples using. So in your organization, there might be some example where you need to get the notification or any kind of event you need to trigger. So for that purpose, what you need to do, you need to create a logic app.
Service bus also can be get the notification, right? That's what I'm asking.
Pardon?
Okay. Service bus also can get the notification, right?
Right.
So, like any difference? Like that's why just thinking now. Any difference between that service bus and logic apps? So
Service bus is different. Service bus is used for messaging.
yeah.
So service, I already told about service bus. Okay. And if you go to the admin class, there I've explained one project in the service bus there. Like,
Okay.
you have one, say for example, service bus type of application that is used in the IoT apps mostly. So there is
Okay.
IoT device which send the message, some data in the form of messages. Then for receiving that message, you need to create an Azure hub in the Azure. There is a service called Azure. Okay, Azure Hub. And
Okay.
then for receiving the messages to the Azure Hub, what you need to do, you need to use some messaging services.
Okay.
Ha. And
So
that
like,
messaging service is known as Service Bus Queue. Okay.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So whatever these topics are total for AZ204. For that purpose, you need to go through AZ204 certification, or you can say explanation from an expert of AZ204, that is development expert.
Okay.
Okay. What we are going through is AZ104 and 400 DevOps side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like logic apps and web apps is so just for curiosity, just I'm asking that because function apps only they're using mainly for all the applications without using the microservice instead of using the microservice. But logic app and web apps is not using like it is cost wise is a problem or something like what is the main purpose of this
So
where we are normally
there
using that
should be a use of logic app, then only they will use the logic app. If there
yeah
will be
that
no use of logic app, then why they will use your logic app?
yeah that's what I'm asking. So where mainly they're using the logic apps and web apps, that's a yeah.
Web app is a different thing. Web app is a different thing. Logic app is a different thing. Okay. Web app is where you will deploy your code. Web app. Okay. Where you will deploy your code.
Okay, got it.
You created some code, right? For
Yeah.
example, you created some application like we have seen our project on eShop on web. So this is
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
e-commerce website, eShop
Mhm.
on web. Now there is a code written for eShop on web, and then we deployed this code to the web app so that we can see that in the web app, like how we deployed that. That is a web
Yeah.
app. It is similar to the, you can say, whenever you create a virtual machine or a virtual machine server, there you have that web server inside that IIS server, right? There you deploy your code, right?
Yeah.
Similar to that, you don't have to create the virtual machine. Directly Azure is providing you the web app.
Okay, got it.
There you deploy your code. Second thing is the logic app. Logic app is a totally different concept. No relation between a web app and a logic app. Okay, that is a totally different concept. Logic app is something, there is an event, and through that particular event, either you are getting some notification. Now, for example, there is an application, WhatsApp application, very best example I can give you. WhatsApp application is there. Now, whenever you send some picture or data into the WhatsApp, say for example, you send a picture which is 5 MB. So does that 5 MB picture will be there like 5 MB? It will be compressed, right?
Yeah.
WhatsApp will never send that 5 MB picture. Shit. 5 MB picture or any kind of document or video. Are you sending? Or other example is you are uploading your picture to the WhatsApp. Okay. Any kind of your DP also. So you are uploading pictures in the WhatsApp. So WhatsApp never uploads that same quality of picture or same size of picture. So what is thus in the WhatsApp functionality, there will be some logic apps and there will be some function apps. So I've never worked on the WhatsApp, but I can, through the design, whatever it is doing, I can definitely give some overview on WhatsApp, how they will be doing that. So for example, they created one task in the WhatsApp for Logic app. What is that first task? Each and every time that Logic app will be checking, what it will be checking, whether anyone would have sent any picture or not. If it gets the picture, then it will execute its second job. I'm talking about Logic app flow. Okay, second job. Now, what is that second job? In the second job, this Logic app will invoke a function. Invoke a function. Now, this function, inside this function, say for example, you have written this function in PowerShell code. PowerShell. And this PowerShell code says what it will do. This PowerShell code, it will compress the picture. Compress the picture. So on the first thing, Logic app will be checking whether any picture is uploaded or not. Second step, if the picture is uploaded, it will be invoking the function. That function will have the PowerShell code, and that PowerShell code is compressing the picture. Third thing, it will get the output of the function. And at the fourth step, your picture will get uploaded. This is the Logic app flow. Maybe for WhatsApp. I'm just predicting this flow for WhatsApp. Okay. I'm not sure whether they are using this flow or not. But as an architect, I know that maybe they are using this flow. Got it?
Yeah.
Where you will be
Yeah.
using the Logic app.
So Logic app will the compress the picture. I mean, the compress the size of that application, right?
No, Logic app will not compress.
The
Logic
PowerShell.
Logic app will invoke a function. So
Yeah.
there may be function apps. Okay. As we created an automation account here, similarly, if you go back, there might be some function app. Function app. This is a function app. Now, if you create any function app here, this is a function app. You can have, you can give function app name like compress pictures. Like this. There's a function app.
Got it. The function apps only invoke the Logic apps. Okay, then. Okay.
No, Logic app will start. Logic app will start and Logic app will check first whether any picture has come to the application or not. And then if it gets some pictures, it will invoke the function in the function app. It will invoke the function in the function app. And that function is written in the PowerShell to
Got it.
compress the picture. It will compress the picture, get the output, and then get uploaded. Got it?
Got it.
Yeah.
But
So
function app will be serverless, right? Like Lambda and the
function
AWS.
app is serverless. It does not need any VM. It does not need any server. Definitely a server will be running on the Azure side in the Azure data center. But
Right.
as per in the application, you will never need any server for running a function. Okay. So those are functionless. So Logic app is, it will check for an event. If there is an event, then there should be an action. So first thing what Logic app will do, check for an event. Check for an event. Second thing what it will do, if an event is triggered, then it will call for action. Call for action. Now once the action is done, it will get the output. And then at last, whatever you want to do. Okay. Perform the desired step, whatever you want to do. You want to send an email, you want to upload the picture, whatever you want to do, you can get. So this is how Logic App works. So most of the times, Logic App, Function App, these comes under the developer associate program, AZ204. So whenever you will be learning with the some trainer, you will be learning developer associate program. There you will be, these are all developer tools. Okay, these does not come under DevOps and all. Okay, as a DevOps engineer, you will not, definitely they are asking, but as a DevOps engineer, you will mostly be working on CI/CD, deploying some application, monitoring, all these things you will be working. These all things will be set up by developer only. Okay.
Troubleshooting will becomes under the DevOps only, right?
Ha. So troubleshooting of the infrastructure, if anything, any issue happens with the Logic App in the infrastructure side, then you will be troubleshooting. Okay. Not with the code. See, here it is written inside the invoke function. The code has been written in the Node.js. You will not be troubleshooting that. That is the work
Yeah.
of the developer.
Got it.
Okay. But if there is any connection issue between the function app and the application, then you will come into picture for troubleshooting that connection. Since you are maintaining the infrastructure, you are responsible for the connection. And if there is any issue with the flow in the code, then it is responsibility of the developer. Got it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Abhishek here, suppose we have two logic app,
Mm-hmm.
and in both logic app, is there any problem with like a failure in between both logic app? So it will manage by the DevOps team or
What is the
like a
issue?
developer.
Connection issue or
Means
anything?
suppose, yeah, like a failure, like there is some failure between
So first you
communication.
have to drill down to the failure. Like failure happened, why the failure had happened. So
Okay.
failure maybe happened with the connection. Either the connection is problem. Failure may happen with the code also. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Maybe you
Yeah.
are invoking the function inside the logic app, then the code is not working. So that may also be a failure. So you have to
Right.
drill down to the logs first.
Mhm. Yes. Based on the log,
Based on the log,
right.
you will decide who must work on this issue, right? Whether it's a
Right.
developer or you will work on this.
Right. Right. Yes.
Okay. So here, if you will go to the logic apps, see you in the monitoring section, you can go through logs and all metrics, logs, diagnostic. You can enable the diagnostic. As of now, diagnostic, I think would not be enabled. So here it will give you the failures and all. If you go inside the logs and all, you will get the logs. You can download the logs. Okay. And wherever it is failing, at what step, it will show you in the log analytics monitor. If you enable this, most of the time you have to enable this, or you might be using some third party application to log all these things. If you don't want to use any application from Azure. Okay. So you can download the logs always and you can go through the logs, query the logs and see where the issue is. Okay.
So we can like automate the log also inside here, right?
No, automatically, just you need to start that thing. See, as of now, there are no diagnostic settings, no logs enabled. You have to enable these things.
Okay.
Okay. So as of now, there are no diagnostic setting. You have to add a diagnostic setting. Means adding a diagnostic setting means you have to add a storage account here where your logs will be collected.
Okay, so this setting for the specific like
For
logic app
any service, you can add the diagnostic setting.
okay, for specific we need to add every specific are like common for all.
No,
Like
no, you
Azure
cannot
developer.
keep that common. You have to create different storage account from for the diagnostic setting of each and every service.
Okay, every service we require this.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you add on the diagnostic setting, see what you want, category group, categories, workflow, runtime, diagnostic event, all metrics you want, all logs you want, then send to log analytics workspace. You need to choose all these things. You need to give the setting, you need to give the storage account, all these things you need to save. Then only the diagnostic setting will appear. Okay. Or you can get the logs into some storage account of all these if any failure happens with the logic app, then you will get the logs in your storage account.
Okay, inside storage. Okay.
And you can drill down through that storage logs into the storage account, and you can find what is the issue. Either the issue is with the code or with the logic app flow or the connection, whatever the issue is. Okay. And then you can decide who will be working on this issue.
Okay.
Where we can see the logs, all the logs for for the last 30 days or 60 days. Where is a setting for that?
See, this diagnostic setting will collect the log into the containers with the storage account. And storage account, when you are setting your storage account, then you can enable all these settings with your storage account. Like for how many days you want to keep it.
So all the logs will be stored in the storage account, right?
Yes,
So
in
where is it setting
the
that
storage account, you will be having a container section. In the container section, you will be having a container named logs. Okay, there you will store all the logs will be stored.
Okay.
Okay. So first thing was like logic app, which I think Jitendra was telling.
Yes.
Any other thing like what they're asking? Like say,
Yes.
so remember that logic app is used. First, it will check for an event, then it will call for an action that will get the output and perform the desired step, whatever you want to do. So for this purpose, logic app is used. Web app is totally different. Don't be confused.
Yes. Web app is yes.
Web app is
different.
simple. You need web app for deploying the code. That's it.
Right. Yes. That's
Yeah.
one different. A logic app is similar with Azure.
Your voice is little low. You can.
Yeah. Now it's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. So Abhishek, Azure logic app similar with the Azure Web Job, and Azure Function.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So see,
So
when we talk about app services, okay. So inside the app services, there are different things. Like if you go here and check for the app services. So when you go onto the app service, you can create a web app, you can create a web job, you can create a mobile app, different apps you can create with the app service. So app service provide that features, like you can create different services with the app service.
yes. Inside app service we can, yeah.
Yeah, inside app service, you will create all these things. Web job, app service, web app, all those things.
Yeah. But Abhishek, one question, like in Azure Function, we have also a trigger, like
Right.
there also we have a trigger, different triggers. So based on that trigger, Azure Function will work.
Correct.
So same way also we are doing here in Azure Logic app,
Hmm.
because here also triggering
So,
some event based on that.
function is always based on event triggering.
Yeah,
So that's
different
why
triggers.
we use logic app, because logic app will check for an event. And once event occurs, it will trigger the function, because function always works on event based triggering, right?
Yeah, right, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So top of the Azure Function, we have to use like a logic app, right?
Correct.
It's a workflow integration.
Yes.
Inside a workflow integration, we have to use Azure Function inside a logic app.
Right. So it's not necessarily that you will use function app with the logic app only. You can use function app anywhere else also. You can use it with your pipelines also. Like for example, how you will use it with the pipeline? Say for example, there is a build process. Okay. Now you created a build pipeline here. And after this build pipeline, you created a build. Okay.
Yeah.
Run the build pipeline. And for some application, this build process acts as a trigger. So there can be, you have listened that there can be a multi-stage pipeline, right?
Yes.
Multi-stage pipeline. Now in the multi-stage pipeline, what can happen? So at the first stage, you are giving the build process, build triggers, okay? Or build processes there at the first stage. Now this build process will act as an event. Event for what? To trigger a logic, to trigger a function. So
Yes.
in the second step, a function will trigger as a part of that build process. So you can use a function app in the pipelines also. Trigger as a part of the build or trigger after the build. Why after the build? Because it is considering that build as an event. So it is not necessarily that function app will work with logic app only. Not only logic app, you can work with function with the pipelines as well.
Yeah.
It depends on the application, what type of application is developed. See, don't worry about these things that how you will do that. Whenever you will be develop or deploying something, definitely there is one thing common. You have to sit with the developer. Developer will let you know what you have to do. Functioning in Azure, see, you know Azure portal. You know Azure portal. Developer does not know the Azure portal. Okay, you know the Azure portal as a DevOps engineer, as a system architect, as whatever. You know the Azure portal. Now, developer will give you the steps. Okay, we need to perform this step. And according to that step, you have to find that particular service in the portal. Okay, with what service we can implement this step. Got it what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Ha, never think that you have to do all these things alone. You have to always sit with the developer.
Right.
Developer will guide you on what steps you need to follow. Say, for example, he said, okay, this is the code, we have to build that code. Now it is up to you what you will use to build that code. You know that using the build pipeline in Azure DevOps, you will build that code. And inside the build pipeline, you will have different steps. So developer will tell you what step you need. And you should have to tell or to perform that what step you need from the build process or from the build pipeline. You need to select the task. What task will execute that particular step which developer is saying. Now you got it what I'm saying, right?
Yes. 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 Right. Yeah.
Yes. So developer will tell you, okay, first uh, we'll restore, then we will build, then we will publish.
And run.
Run. No, you will not be running. When you will be publishing, see, publishing and running is a different thing. Running means you will be running your application in the debug mode. Now, when you run your application in the debug mode, whenever you will stop that pipeline, your application will stop. That is called the debug mode. Okay. But
Yep.
in the release mode, you will not run that command, run command. You will also always publish. Now publish will get all the artifacts at one place. And that publish will be having each and every dependency to run that particular code. And then what you will do out of that published folder, out of these all those files, you will create a package. What kind of package? So in .NET, you will might be creating a zip package. If you are working on Java, you might be creating a var package or EAR package or jar package. These are the packages for Java. Here you need .zip, .dll. These are the files you will be using for .NET. So all these things, steps, all those builds, restore, these all steps, not only with the build process, at everywhere where the development task is involved, developer will show you the task step, and you have to find that task or service according to that particular step, what is needed. And you have to implement that.
Can you explain some like .NET package and Java package in the pipeline using multi-stage pipeline? So not in this lab. So
See,
example.
.NET package I have already explained. So when we creating that local application there, we have already seen that if you go with the Azure DevOps, there are projects which we created, like project here. Then there was a Hello World demo project. Inside the Hello World, we created one MVC application and a solution file. Then inside that, when we built this project, what we did, we published that by running the publish command. Now this publish folder is having all the dependencies which are needed to run that application. Now at this particular level, when you will be running that DLL file, your application will start.
Okay.
So these are the files which are published. Now when you run a DevOps pipeline, all these things happen at the back end, somewhere with the Azure. That's why you don't see these things. But since you are developing it in local, you see all these things over here. So these all the files which will be like you will be publishing at the publishing time, you will get DLL files and all. Now for Java, what I'll do, I'll create a separate application for Java. Okay. And I'll let you know how you can build the Java code as well. Apart from this. Okay. I can tell you this on Monday.
Okay.
How to build a Java code. What are the steps involved in building a Java code? How you can deploy that Java code to a simple Tomcat. Tomcat means application server. How you can deploy that Java code into the Docker, and how you can run that Java code into the Kubernetes. Everything. I'll be needing 2-3 class to explain all these things.
Yeah.
One by one. Okay. So if you want this in Java application, what we'll do, we'll create a Java application. Then what we'll be doing, we'll be seeing the build tool, what is needed to build that Java application. So build tool, and mostly we'll be seeing that build tool as a Maven as a build tool for Java application. Okay. Like MS build is for .NET application, Maven is for Java application. So build tool will be there. Then how you will be building your job? So through pipelines. Okay. Pipeline. Now where we'll create this pipeline? So we'll see Jenkins here. Okay. Jenkins. See, there are two things. Either we can see these things through Azure pipelines also. We can see these things to the end with the enterprise tools also. Whatever you will say, I'll show you that on. Okay. I know both.
Enterprise means the
Enterprise means like Jenkins. Jenkins is an enterprise
yeah,
tool
yeah,
for creating the pipeline.
open source tool. Okay.
So what we will be doing here, we'll be creating one virtual machine over here. And we will be performing each and everything inside that virtual machine only. You install Jenkins, install Docker, install Kubernetes, everything. Those will be enterprise tools.
Yeah.
And whatever you are doing with Azure, those are Azure tools. Like enterprise tool is Kubernetes. So you have to install the Kubernetes into the virtual machine or your own machine. But if you use Azure, Azure having its own service, Azure Kubernetes. So you can implement this Kubernetes service and all using Azure pipelines. See, major difference between DevOps tools. Here you will use Git. So if we will be developing this Java application through enterprise tools, we will be using Git over here, GitHub. Okay, we'll be using Maven as a build tool. We will be using Jenkins for the pipeline. And then we will be using Tomcat here. Tomcat for application server to deploy
So,
that Java code.
so
Then,
for testing SonarQube, they're using right JUnit.
I'll show you that. No worries. It will take 3 to 4 classes to show all these things. Okay.
Is it Tomcat or Tomcat?
Pardon?
Is it Tomcat or Tomcat?
No, it's Tomcat. Yeah.
Let's say.
Okay. Then you can see Docker as well here. And then Kubernetes. So with Java, with Java, we can see all these tools. So that's what I said. You can do these things with the enterprise tools, or either you can do these things with Azure tools. So with the Azure tools, we have seen how we can build .NET application. Okay. So now we'll see with the enterprise tools, how we can build a Java application. Okay. Yeah. Monitoring tools, I'll keep a separate class for monitoring tools. Okay. It's a one class only, monitoring tool. It's nothing that much.
Please share this notepad also.
Abhishek, in monitoring tool, Azure Insight also coming. Azure Insight.
So Azure Insight, for that purpose,
Azure Application Insight. Yeah.
So if you see this lab here, it's in the lab number. See, SonarQube is also there. And here, if you'll go, Application Insight is also there. Key Vault is also there.
Yeah, Key Vault.
Running the unit test cases is also there. This is the monitoring lab. Monitoring application performance with Azure Application Insight.
Azure Application Insight.
And load testing also. Most of the things they are covered in this lab. Most of the things for Azure. So if you just go through lab number 1 until lab number 17, you will get everything for DevOps. Azure DevOps.
With the practice, you will know everything.
Pardon?
With the practice, you will know everything.
Right. Practice only you can know everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to use this, like for example, you practice one time with eShop on web project. Bring your own project. Bring your own project from anywhere. And try using these steps with your own project. But the issue will be that then you have to create all the files, YAML files and all with your own.
Like create a new project name, you mean?
For example, you are building your own codes. Maybe some of you are developers. You can build your small project. Say this is eShop on web. This is e-commerce application. Create a Spring Boot application. Now Spring Boot application will be having a backend also. And practice that Spring Boot application with these steps over here, with these labs. If you want to do it with Node.js, you can practice with Node.js. It's up to you. You have to practice. All the steps are there. I can guide you through one step. .NET, Java, that's it. Later on, it's up to you using which project, with what technology, what code you have to practice. It's up to you. So that's what I told. I have told these steps through .NET. On Monday, I'll be going through Java application with these enterprise tools. So all the enterprise tools will be covering, okay, Docker and Kubernetes and all. It will take 2-3 days. And then later on, I'll finish these labs out, okay? Because these labs are also important.
Yeah.
Abhishek, just one thing. So, by means, how long is it going to take to complete like whatever we have discussed so far?
See, I'm teaching every day, okay?
Yeah.
So it will be like, as of now, say on Monday, I'll take this one. I'll create an application, a Java application. So we can see GitHub, we can see Jenkins on Monday. Okay. Then on next class, we can see Docker and all, Docker Hub and all, how to deploy using Docker and all, and Kubernetes. And then we can see Ansible and Terraform. So mostly 3 to 4 days, or you can say 1 week whole, we can complete all these things. Okay.
Okay. For monitoring, then separate class will be there, right? For Prometheus.
Monitoring, apart from monitoring, leave the monitoring, I'll do that separate class. Okay.
Okay. And so, can we cover like logging also in these classes only, like once we are doing deployment and all?
Sure. We'll do that.
Okay.
Okay.
So mostly like mid of January, right?
Mid of January.
Okay. And Abhishek, one thing for giving a DevOps certification, is it like prerequisite to have that the fundamental one?
There is a prerequisite for DevOps. Either you can give 104, either you can give fundamental one.
Okay.
Any of one you have to give.
Either one.
Okay.
Okay,
And for DevOps, just follow these labs 1 to 17. If you follow these labs, definitely you will be going to clear 400.
Okay.
Because everything is from these labs only.
Yeah. And Abhishek, like, can you share the dumps for that fundamental one? I'm planning to give in 1 week or so.
I'll share. Okay. I've given
Okay.
that link, I think, if you go.
Microsoft. On fundamental.
I'll share on the WhatsApp, okay? I'll share on the WhatsApp.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Do you have any Azure DevOps dumps?
Today?
Azure DevOps dumps.
I'll send you that also. For DevOps also, for 104 also, and for that fundamental also. Okay?
Thanks.
Yeah.